खुदा में रज़वी हो।
Allah Almighty, by His divine grace and by His mercy, has granted us numerous and countless blessings. Whether we are able to see all of them or not, that is the weakness of our vision and our perception. But reality is that Allah has given us so many ni'mats, so many bounties, so many barakat in our lives, कि अगर हम उस पर गौर और फिक्र कर रहे, if we think about it and we ponder upon it, and you take an example, one simple example of the ni'mat and the bounties that Allah has given us, what would happen if you could not inhale? It's a very simple question. What would happen if you cannot breathe? If you just cannot take a gasp of air in? What will be your hal? Where will it lead you to? To death. And like if you can inhale, but you can't exhale, where will it take us? This is only one ni'mat of Allah. This is only one ni'mat of Allah. One gasp of air. One breath. This is one bounty of Allah. This is one favor of Allah. This is one ni'mat of Allah that Almighty Allah has given us. And if we can't get even that, then no matter how strong your body is, no matter how powerful your heart is, no matter how energetic you are, all is useless. Because it depends on that one gasp of air. More valuable than that gasp of air countless times is your Iman. Is your Iman. Because you can have everything, and if there is no Iman, everything is barbad. Everything is bekar. Allah Almighty has showered us with so many blessings and so many ni'mats. And last week we talked about Iman and how important it is to protect our Iman. But it is unfortunate that people have forgotten to value this greatest gift that Allah has given us. We have forgotten the importance of it. We say, yes, we are Muslims. We say we believe. But how much do we ponder upon what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing? Look at it, and I'm giving you a simple example. All our amal and our deeds that we do is dependent on our Iman. Iman na ho to zindagi bhar aadmi amal kare koi fayda nahi. Okay? No matter how much you do, if you don't have no Iman, it is of no use. Ne? You can give as much charity as you want. You can put your head down on the ground as much as you want. You don't be called sajda. The condition is Iman. The condition is Iman. Now, before we discuss Iman even more, and I'll try and discuss this over the weeks. Your amal, your actions, your deeds. As simple, I'm giving you a very simple example. As simple as coming to the masjid on a Friday. As simple as coming to the masjid on a Friday to read Salatul Jummah. How many times I see while I stand here, and this is positive criticism, that you find people sitting in the wudu khana while everything is being prepared for salah. And when the imam decides to stand on the musalla and the muazzin starts to give iqamah, then everybody wants to rush into the masjid and the ulama must wait. Wait for what? Wait for what? I'm being very blunt about this. Have we forgotten why we come to the house of Allah? No, while we're talking about Iman and Amal, look at what is the reason for this. This is weakness of Iman. This is weakness of Iman, that the Amal is not coming into action as it should. Simple, and be it every other day. Every day is farad to read your namaz, wherever you may be. Right? If you go into any masjid to read your namaz, Sunni Sahihul Aqidah masjid. Don't go to Bad Mazhab because their masjid is even not masjid. For misle zameen. Okay? But if you're at your home or your workplace, you're going to read your namaz, night is your fard. But on the Friday when you come to the masjid, at least if us come once a week, we're coming for Jummah to the masjid, at least value and think how precious this moment is. This is the time when there are angels standing at that door, waiting to record your name in the heavenly register. They are waiting to record my name and your name in the heavenly register, and we are sitting outside. We are standing outside making discussions. While I'm on the topic, do you know the value of this day? It's a long discussion, but just for barakat. Since I'm on the topic, we'll discuss everything is to do with Iman in reality. But I'll discuss the topic of Iman in further detail as the weeks go, if Allah wills. But since I said about the Jummah, let me tell you, there's a narration from Hazrat Sayyiduna Abu Huraira, Sahabi Rasul, Hazrat Sayyiduna Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu. He says that the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam held my hand. How khush nasib they were. How fortunate Abu Huraira is. Allah's Nabi is holding his hand. Allah's Nabi is holding his hand. This is the shan of the Sahaba Ikram. This is the maqam of the Sahaba Ikram. That they saw the Nabi, they touched the Mubarak jism of the Nabi, and there were times when the Nabi blessed them by touching them even with his Mubarak hands. Hazrat Abu Huraira says that the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam held my hand. Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam held my hand, and Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to me, "Oh Abu Huraira," talking about a Friday, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam held my hand, and he said to me, "Oh Abu Huraira, Almighty Allah created this earth, this zameen, on a Saturday. Allah created this earth on a Saturday, and Almighty Allah created the mountains on this earth on a Sunday." Allah created the earth on a Saturday, and the mountains which you see on this earth today, Allah created them on a Sunday. And then the beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and on this earth Allah created the trees, He spread the trees out on a Monday. And He spread these trees out on a Monday. And on a Tuesday, Allah created the makruhat, those things without difficulties and calamities. They are created on a Tuesday. And then He said to Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala an, Allah ta'ala spread out all the animals on the earth on a Thursday. He spread out all the animals on the earth on a Thursday. And He created Hazrat Adam alayhi salam on a Friday after Asr. He created Adam alayhi salam when? Look at how important this day is. He created Adam alayhi salam on a Friday after Asr. When? After creating the entire creation, the last He created Adam alayhi salam. After creating everything else, Allah created Adam alayhi salam as the final creation. And then He created him when? After Asr. According to this riwayat and other riwayats, between Asr and the evening, between Asr and Maghrib. That's when Allah Ta'ala created Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. Now, something to think about. Now we're talking about the Friday very quickly. How barakat is this day when our father came into dunya and Allah Ta'ala created the father of mankind on this day. And He even entered Jannat on a Friday. He even descended onto the earth on a Friday. He even left this world on a Friday. And Qiyamah will come on a Friday. So this Friday is a very important day. That is why Allah is gathering us together like this, isn't it? That is why we're being reminded about the value of this day. And while I'm on this topic, very quickly, food for thought. Something very interesting. When Allah created Adam alayhi salam, and some sand remained from the jism of Adam alayhi salam, do you know what Allah created? He created the khujur tree. Allah created the date tree. With the dust, with some of the sand that was left from the jism of Adam Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah Ta'ala created a date tree, the khajur tree. And then when after creating this khajur tree, there was still some sand left. There was still some, I want you to listen carefully. There was still some sand left equal to a sesame seed. Rai kadam. equal to a sesame seed sand was left after creating the kajut tree. So Almighty Allah, with that sand equal to a sesame seed, Allah created another zameen, another domain. And the awliya have said that that domain is so big, that domain is so big that the 7 earths and the 7 skies in front of it is like a spot in a desert. That's how big that zameen is. That's how big that region is. And they say that that region, entrance into it is only granted to the awliya Allah. It is the zameen of the awliya Allah. They are only granted entrance into it, and they only know where the zameen is. From one sesame seed equivalent of sand, my Rabb and your Rabb created an entire zameen, that the 7 skies and the earth is like a little circle, like a little dot inside it. That Rabb who can do that with one sesame seed equivalent of dust, that is the same Rabb who created the sky and the earth and the sun and the moon. It is the same Rabb who gives you life and causes death. It is the same Rabb who gives you rizq. And it is the same Rabb who is your creator, before whom you should bow in his ibadah, and not be sitting outside when the ibadah is taking place. We're talking about Friday. Since I started going into the discussion on a Friday, we're talking about Friday. There's something else, food for thought. We said Hazrat Adam al-Islam was created on the Friday, right? What was the height of Hazrat Adam al-Islam? Have a thought about it? As you know, in the older times people were taller. But what was the height of Hazrat Adam al-Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam, when Almighty Allah created Adam al-Islam? How? Because you know, when Allah created him, the angels were going around him and admiring him. They were saying, what a beautiful creation this is. They were praising the physique. At that time, the ruh was not even inside. Just the qalib. They were praising him. That Adam al-Islam, so handsome, such a beautiful creation. They had never seen man before. It was the first man, isn't it? So how tall was our father? How tall was our father? Hazrat Adam ala Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam. It has come in the Hadith Mubarak and the riwayats that he was 60 zira tall. He was how many zira tall? 60 zira. 60 zira is about 60 cubits. Now that is roughly 60 cubits is roughly 27.43 meters. Not 2 meters, 1 meter, 1.7, 1.8. We usually 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. 27.43 meters tall Hazrat Adam alayhi salam was, and he was 3.2 meters broad. This is our father, Hazrat Adam al-Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam. So Allah Almighty created him in this way, and we are all his awlad. People say today, but when was the first Muslim? They are nine, the humans. The first one to submit in the court of Allah was Hazrat Adam al-Islam amongst mankind. First, believers are from the time of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam amongst mankind. And before that, the Malaika were in the remembrance of Almighty Allah and still in the remembrance of Allah. So the point that I want to make here is that our father, this I just said to you, food for thought, for understanding, that our father Hazrat Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, this is his fadilah, this is his maqam, that the day on which he came is so mubarak. That is why the beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam referred to this day as one of the great days, because of Adam alayhi salam coming, because of all this, all the barakat. If this is the fadilat of the Friday, what is the fadilat of the Monday on which Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam came in this dunya? That is why the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I fast on a Monday, because my Rabb created me on the Monday, and this is the day that our amal is presented in the court of Almighty Allah. So think about this. Very important to understand that yes, we have to strengthen our Imaan. But when you have Imaan, it must reflect. You have a mirror, it must reflect. You have light, it must shine. If you have a globe and it doesn't work, what's the use of it? You switch it on, nothing burns. No light, no brightness. That bulb is bekar. People say sometimes that, you people are so strict when it comes to the deviants and the bad mazhabs. Why some of them you don't need to look at towards them, and some are a little bit confused. You'll try to explain to them. But those who are gone, you don't even want to. Those who say certain things, you don't even want to try and save them. What is the reason? We said, see, we only save those who are confused. Those who are diffused, we don't save. Those who are fused, khatam ho gaya. हमें इससे क्या मतलब? Bhai, throw it in the bin. It's got no value. We got no care about it. Okay? So our job is to protect the believers and those who are being confused by the people. Those who are gone, let them go. Okay? Allah keep us with Iman. Let us lead the world with Iman.